find some bipartisan agreement on
Well,
that?
I think all of us who work in the education issues, we all know how big a deal this is. There's a lot of cost to special education. We're all struggling with how we pay for the costs. We've all talked about the need for the federal government to do a better job of living up to the expectations they've set, however you want to characterize them. In fact, we sent that letter off this week. I'm sure the check is in the mail. We'll probably get that solved. But I think there will be some effort to find a way to bring more money into special education. But there are cautions here. Senator Olson from our side, Jen Olson, has talked frequently about the maintenance of effort, without getting too much into the detail of policy at the federal level. Once you put money into special education spending, you can really never retreat from that. And even if more federal dollars come in, it doesn't necessarily help your budget. So her point is maybe we ought to be a little bit more cautious about putting a lot of money into the special education formula and just recognize that we're going to have to deal with it out of general fund dollars, and to get greater flexibility, we might be smarter to put more money into the general formula. But from my perspective, I think one of the other challenges is the structure of how we're administering the special education programs really effective? And I think we need to look harder at that. There's a lot of inherent conflict between families who have children with special needs and school administrations as they try to figure out how to educate kids, and sometimes those are very painful and not very productive. And I think there ought to be some policy discussions on how we do special education in addition to just the funding. So in general, I think, yes, there will be some broad bipartisan agreement that we need to do something with special education. And I think that we'll, at the end of the day, come up with something that both sides are going to find some unanimity on.
But under what you just said, formula increase, part of a formula increase would be applied to special ed.
It could, yes, and I think that there will be changes in that. I mean, basically, we set a budget, so we're going to spend so much money on special education, then you kind of divide it out among all the districts. I think there will be an attempt to do as well as we think we can to put money into that account. And we all recognize that school districts are under pressure to deal with special education funding, and we'll do what we can.
And how is the governor's high school reform agenda faring in?
Well, I think from what I've heard, and we've had a little bit of discussion, we're going through the bill in Senator Stumpf's committee. I think there's broad agreement that there's merit to the idea of trying to elevate the rigor and the use of the high school years to prepare people for college or post-high school education of whatever form. I think there's some questions about the exact structure of this. I'm not sure at the end of the day we're going to end up exactly with what the governor wants, but I do believe that there will be some effort put into expanding those high school education opportunities and try to do more in that high school year to, I guess, maybe absorb some of the costs that could go into just the college years. If we can get some of that college education done early, it's maybe a cost saving to families.
And is the smoke clearing a little bit on the either-or debate of early childhood or all-day K, or where's that?
Well, my sense is it's getting a little clearer. I think there's more of a sense that we're looking at early childhood rather than all-day kindergarten. And I just say that because we've been to a couple of presentations by some of the academics and other experts, and there's some skepticism being raised about, does all-day kindergarten really have the promise that that we think it has, or are you going to get a better bang for your buck by looking at early childhood? And I think what I've been able to detect is more people believe that there's an opportunity in early childhood that might be more viable than all-day K. And I frankly don't see how you can do an expansive job of both of those things. I think that given the budget realities, we're going to be able to do something, but I'm guessing it's going to be pretty much an either-or. And my sense is that there's more of a movement toward pre-K rather than all-day kindergarten. That would be my guess, but so.
Senator, just shifting to politics,
Sure.
you mentioned Congressman Ramstad here real quick, but is there concern among conservatives in the district about his votes in the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think some, yes. I think he certainly, he joined with the Democrats on the first 100-hour legislation. I think he was one of the few that went along with all of that, and I think there was some concern about his vote on the war resolution, and I know that's beyond Minnesota politics, but I think we all know that Congressman Ramstad wouldn't be fairly described as a movement conservative, but a very good man, I think a very good congressman. I certainly have great respect for him. He certainly knows his district. He gets more votes than anybody in Congress, so I'm certainly not going to argue with his tactics. But I think there is some concern on the part of conservatives about is it really the right message to try to join with the other side and, in a sense, abandoning the president, and some disappointment. But
Following up on that, I mean, do you support, I mean, there's discussion about someone running against him. Do you support that idea?
I personally don't. I think, Ronald Reagan used to talk about, we need to agree most of the time, and I think in most of the time, most of the issues, we can find a lot of agreement with Congressman Ramstad. I think he's done a good job for Minnesota. I'm certainly not going to be leading the charge to say we ought to replace him. I think he's doing a good job. Anything else you want to talk about today?